Okay, so now in this example, we're given another right triangle and we're given two sides, okay? So, and that's all we're given. So let's sketch our triangle. So again, just has to be a right triangle. So any old right triangle will work, okay? And so let's label A, B, C. And so that's going to be A, B, C. And so B is equal to 56, 82. C is equal to 79, 55. Okay, now one thing to note when you're finding these angles, okay, the length of the longest side is always opposite the largest angle, okay? The longest side is always opposite the largest angle. The smallest side is always opposite the smallest angle, okay? Just to keep things in perspective. Okay, so now, let's solve, okay? So now, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do this one. So we've got what? A squared plus B squared equals C squared, right? So we've got A squared is equal to, or plus B squared, which is going to be 56, 82 squared equals 79, 55 squared. So then A, what? A squared equals what? 7955 quantity squared minus 56.82 squared. And then of course if I take the square root of both sides, A is going to equal the square root of that. And so if I stick that in my calculator, what do you get? You get approximately 5567. 5567. Okay. That makes sense. So good. We figured it out. So now we need to figure out what angle A and angle B are. Now all we have to do is find one of the two angles. Because once we find the one angle, then we can use the fact that the angles must be complementary. So these two angles are complementary of each other, so they have to add up to 90. So if we find one angle, either A or B, we can easily find the other one just by subtraction, okay? Or subtracting the angle from 180. So let's do A, okay? So we want to use a ratio of these angles that will give us A. So one is to use cosine. So let's call this angle A. So the cosine of angle A is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's going to be 56.82 over 79.55. Now why am I using these two and not this one? Well, because this one was calculated and so it's rounded. So these were given to us, so I'd rather use the ones that were given to us in our calculation than the one that we calculated and rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay, it's just my way of doing things. So let's go on. So I know the cosine of A equals this. So if I want A, well then I'm going to take the inverse cosine of both sides. So A equals cosine inverse of 56.82 divided by 79.55. And so now if I stick that in my calculator, what do I get? Well, stick it in your calculator and you get approximately 44.42 degrees. 44.42 degrees. So that's A. And then of course, all I have to do is to find angle B is subtract this from 90, right? They have to complementary, right? So I just subtract 44.42 from 90. So B equals 90 minus 44.42, which is going to equal what? Well, that's going to give us 45. 58 degrees. And we're done. And of course, these two add up to 90, plus the 90 gives us 180. And then of course, we can use the Pythagorean theorem that gives us this, and we're done. I mean, this all makes sense. We did the Pythagorean theorem, so these angles are related correctly. These angles add up to 180 degrees, or A and B equals 90, and we're good. Have a great day.